بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Jesus in Islam, Christianity and the Jewish Talmud. Abu Yad Amjad bin Muhammad Rafiq, the Monotheism of the Prophets. Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ نُوحِي لِأَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاعْبُدُونِ. And we sent out before you any messenger except that we revealed to him that there is no deity except me, so worship me alone. Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. And we sent into every nation a messenger saying, worship Allah and alone shun false deities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِنَّ لَرَبِّي وَرَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُوا هَذَا صِرَاطٌ مُسْتَقِيمٌ. Jesus said, and indeed Allah is my Lord and your Lord, so worship him alone, that is the straight path. The monotheism Tawheed which all the Prophets call to is not merely to believe in one creator, provider and sustainer, because this is already rooted in innate disposition. Every child is born with this predisposition and is referred to as the fitra. Rather, the monotheism of the Prophet it is to exclusively single out this creator, Allah, with all forms and types of worship. These forms and types include love, mahabba, fear, hope, raja, reliance, tawakkul, bowing, sujud, prostration, ruku, prayer, salat, invocation, dua, seeking aid, isti'ana, solating, rescue, istighatha by way of example, include both what is inward and the heart is belief and its feelings, emotion and states, and what is outward, the tongue and the limbs, utterance and deeds, thus claiming to believe in one creator and one God, when resurrecting these forms and types of worship to others to be the angels, Prophet, saints, pure men, whether dead or alive, as stones, trees, idols, the sun, moon, stars, and the stars, or any other of the elements, force or intertwined ways and means and causes and effects is a contradiction. أي نعم. One cannot claim to believe that only God creates, provides, sustains, controls, regulates, gives, and takes, and then offer worship to what is beside him from that which he created. It is a violation of reason, comprises the greatest injustice, and represents the height of folly and shallowness in intellect. The Islamic message of all the Prophet is built upon two mighty foundations. Firstly, that Allah is exclusively worshipped alone, no partners are associated with him in worship. Secondly, that he is not worshipped except through what he legislated. The message of the Prophet combines between these two, with the second being a means of fulfillment for the first. The Jews and Christians swerved from these foundations. They worship others beside Allah and altered, distorted, abrogated, or in the case of the Christians, did away with the law altogether, and worship Allah through their own innovations and whatever they absorbed of the rituals of the pagans. Acts of worship are founded upon the principles of legislation, shar, and a faithful observance, ittiba, which is an imitation of the messengers of Allah in what they conveyed of the law. It is not for anyone to worship Allah except through what his messengers reserved of obligatory and recommended deeds. He is not worshipped through innovated affairs for which he gave no authority. Thus, every act of worship must be founded upon pure monotheistic belief, related only to Allah, done sincerely for His sake, and in compliance with what was legislated. This is the way of Abraham, Isaac, Ismail, Jacob, Moses, David, Solomon, the Israelite prophet, Jesus, and Muhammad. It is to worship Allah alone and to worship Him only through what He legislated and ordered. The treatment of monotheism in the Quran and the prophetic tradition is vast, comprehensive, and complete. It is a completion and perfection of the message of all the prophets. The Prophet Muhammad said, both in this world and in the hereafter, I am the nearest of people to Jesus, the son of Mary. The prophets are paternal brothers. Their mothers are different, but their religion is one. The rest of this message is of Islam. It can still be found in what remains of the Torah and the Gospel. In Deuteronomy 6:4, we find, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord of our God, the Lord is one." In Zechariah 14:9.1, on that day there will be but one Lord, and His name will be the one. And in Mark 12:21, the most important one answered Jesus is this: "Hear, O Israel, the Lord of our God, the Lord is one." The meaning is lost in translation, but this statement in the original Hebrew or Aramaic, Eloheinu Yahuwah Echad and Yahuwah Echad Ushmo Echad are identical to the statement Ilahuna Ahad. Our deity is uniquely one. And Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad, say He is Allah who is uniquely one. and the declaration of the Monotheism in Islam, La ilaha illallah, which means no deity deserves or has the right to be worshipped but Allah alone. We also read in Matthew again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. All this I will give you, he said, if you will fall down and worship me. Away from me, Satan, Jesus declared, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Islam is founded upon the modernism and upon submission to the will of Allah, as Jesus himself taught in what is ascribed to him, and whose meaning the Quran corroborates. Jesus said, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does that the will of my Father in heaven. On that day many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and do many deeds of power in your name? Then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Go away from me, you evildoers. Doing the will of the Father in heaven means submission to the will of Allah, which is the meaning Islam. Submit oneself to His oneness, that al-istislam lillahi bit-tawhid, and to obey him through compliance with the law, al-inqiyad lahu bit-ta'a, and to disavow the worship of other deities and those who fall into it, al-bara min al-shirk wa ahlihi. This is the same message given by Jesus in the above citation. Father Jesus disavows those who worship him by invoking him and doing deeds in his name, and affirms that only those who worship Allah, obey him, and perform his will shall attain salvation. In essence, Jesus was a caller to Islam and to Tawheed. He neither called to Judaism nor to Christianity. Rather, he called to the way of Abraham and Moses ﷺ. The true followers of Jesus and his message were led by James the Just, and were poor monotheists. They believed in Jesus as a prophet and Messiah. They observed the law, did not eat pork or drink alcohol, and were circumcised. They considered salvation to be through faith and deeds, which is a central message of the Noble Quran. This original Jewish Christianity was rejected by Jewish leaders out of pride, arrogance, and the desire to preserve their standing. It was uttered by Paul, Saul of Tarsus, for a Greco-Roman pagan audience. The earliest believers in Jesus were deemed heretical, persecuted, and driven out. Jewish Christianity became obscure after paganized Greco-Roman Christianity went on to replace the monotheism and law of Jesus ﷺ through the aid of empire, and became the religion of the Gentiles.